Welcome to the Untrapped podcast, where we're motivated and inspired about success, small business, and personal development. And now, Keith Kalfas.
How do you qualify customers over the phone to make way more money? This is a video that's a request, so it's a Q&A. I have done 10,000 phone calls, met with tons of customers, made lots of money, and made lots of mistakes. So I'm going to share with you right now exactly how to qualify customers over the phone when they call, and you're going to want to watch this whole video. This will make you money, I promise you, if you do what I'm about to tell you, all right? So 2016, I was really frustrated with my business. Super frustrated. And so I joined this thing called the Contractor Sales Academy. Tom Reber and Steve Shinholzer. Super cool guys. They held these live groups. And so in the middle of a work day, I'd have to pull over while my guys are working and hop on a Zoom call and go through this coaching Contractor Sales Academy. They teach you how to sell. And we would do role playing over the phone. Now, I wasn't with them too long, but the few things that I did learn changed my entire business. The first thing I learned was the 50% gross profit margin rule. That's you cannot take on a job unless you're going to make at least a 50% gross profit margin, which is 100% markup. So you do all the math of what it's going to cost you to do the job. This is a little bit later on in the process once you've given the quote. I'm just telling you now. But you figure out all of your expenses down to the most minute thing, and then you times that by 2, so you make a 50% gross profit. But here's the qualifying part. This is so cool. So when the customer calls, this is what's going to save you, and this is the attitude you need to have. Of course, you want to be nice and professional with the customer. Customer's always right type thing. But your whole entire intention is, I'm not going to drive all the way across town and sit in traffic. Bumper to bumper traffic, if I'm not going to collect a signature and a deposit check, right? So when you start thinking this way, it will save you a lot of time. And when you feel the pain of sitting in traffic and then the stories you tell yourself, well, how come I'm wasting my time with all these customers? That frustration will make you change when it gets painful enough. So here's the way it works. I learned so much from it. I was just on the phone with a customer. Well, actually, I sold a $20,000 landscape job. One phone call, and 15 minutes on the job site with the customer. Signature, deposit check, boom, 20 grand job sold. Another one just yesterday, I was on the phone with the customer. We're doing the quote. I'm doing the quote on Saturday because the customer qualified, and this is about $8,000 to $12,000. So here's the way it worked. Hey, Mr. Jones, this is Keith with Kalfas Landscaping. I got your request. Tell me a little bit about your project, right? So the customer starts talking, and I want to learn. You're basically just asking questions. You're a glorified order taker at some point, and you're listening to everything you're saying. This is part of the qualifying process. I'm doing it right now.
If you are looking for the greatest software ever to run your business on, go to getjobber.com/Keith. You can create proposals, invoices, collect payments, and track your entire business directly on the Jobber smartphone app. If you want to get a totally free trial of Jobber right now, open your browser, type in getjobber.com/Keith, and after the trial, if you decide to sign up with Keith's link, you'll automatically get 20% off your first 6 months. So what are you waiting for? Go to getjobber.com/Keith.
You know, you want to get a tone and a picture of what are their pain points. Like, why do they want to get their landscaping done or their trees trimmed or whatever? And you shut off your brain and really feel into it. Okay, does the customer want it done, or is this a husband-wife thing? Is it maybe their spouse wants it done more? But the more you can feel into that, like empathetically, is the more that you can. And when they feel that you're listening to them, you're not waiting for your turn to talk, but you're actually listening for real. Then they feel heard and understood. Now you're already way ahead of the game compared to other landscapers because they feel heard and understood. I have sold so many jobs by showing up to a quote with the customer, and when we're walking around the property, I just stay in a place of calm, presence, and listen, and let them talk it all out. And they literally talk themselves right into the sale, because when they feel heard and understood, and they know that you understand their why, then they talk themselves right into the sale. It's pretty amazing. You don't have to say much. But I'm listening, and the customer is like, I said, send me over some pictures. Can you video call me? Can you send me pictures? Yes. Send them to this number right now. Oh, I can see the pictures. I'm looking at the guy's landscaping, the retaining wall, the shrubs, the trees, and everything. And let's say Bob Jones. What do you want to do here, Bob? What's your vision? What are you thinking? They might need help with the vision. They might need a landscape design. But when I'm looking at it and I'm talking to the customer, they say they want to get new racks. The customer says something like, hey, is there any way we can save some of the old racks that are on top? Or just add more racks, but I really want to get rid of all these weeds that are growing through the racks. Do you do like a barrier, a fabric or something? So, because I've done thousands of landscape jobs and I've shot myself in the foot, I've underquoted jobs, things take 3 times as long as, like, you go through all this pain and suffering that makes you learn hard lessons to not do that again. That translates into, that experience translates into expertise. And then that expertise translates into a feeling of confidence on the phone with the customer, right? And I say, well, you know what, Bob, in all my experience, I've been doing this full time, literally 20 years. And then the customers start laughing. He's like, really? You've been doing it that long? I'm like, bro, I have a love-hate relationship in my business. I love my business, but I mean, I've been doing it that long. Like, I would be overly transparent to the point where it's fun, depending on the customer, right? Bob's in his 60s. He knows what I'm talking about when I say, I've had a love-hate relationship with this business. It's funny, right? I'm not complaining to him. But I got him laughing a little bit. But my point is to let Bob know this is all we do full-time, all day, every day. This is not some part-time hustle. This is not something I'm doing on the weekends out of the back of my pickup truck. I'm not some chuck in a truck who's going to pull up and he can't trust me with his money and then I might do a bad. No. Dude, I do this full time. Like, we're fully licensed and insured. We have hundreds of positive 5-star reviews. Like, it translates in the confidence of your voice. You're not speaking up. Like, is that okay, Bob? Do you think that maybe we could do it? You say, hey, tell you what, Bob, down. I got 2 times. I got Saturday. I got one at 9 a.m. and one at 1 p.m. Do either of those work for you? Or I give them a window between 9 and 10 or 1 and 2. Which one of those work for you? Pause. Oh, 1 o'clock works, right? So when I'm talking to the customer, I'll be like, let me back up a little bit. I say, look at all these racks, because I said racks, but I skipped over that. I say, we've done this thousands of times, and it's going to cost you the same amount of money for us to just remove all the racks, remove all the fabric, discard it all, and just put all brand new fabric and brand new racks, and it'll look way better. Because I'll tell you one thing, if we try to save the racks on top, even if we can save some, as soon as we start digging, it's going to start mixing with the dirty racks, kind of like salt and pepper, and it's going to create an environment, just the tiniest bit of dirt. It's going to make weeds grow, and that's not good for either of us. So we'll just get rid of them and put brand new racks. Now the customer on either side of his porch has these big overgrown dwarf Alberta spruce shrubs. He's like, can we remove those and replace them with something? Yeah, absolutely. Once of those get overgrown, and I say the name of the shrub, dwarf Alberta spruce shrubs, it's best to just put something new in there. We could put topiary spiral shrubs. We could put new Alberta spruce shrubs. He says, but what about the rest? Can we remove these things or transplant this rhododendron? I say, hey, Bob, the rhododendron in the picture I can see, I'm zooming, it's so close to the foundation of your house with all the established roots, it's going to really be hard to transplant that in the survivability rate. It'll cost you the same amount of money if we just dig it up and discard it and go get you a nice brand new one in a pot. And so I can tell, like, a customer might want a few things replaced here, but then they want to leave these 50-year-old shrubs on the other side. In the picture, I was like, so the juxtaposition, I said it's going to look funny if you replace these couple things here, but on the other side you have these monster dinosaur 50-year-old shrubs. It's going to look weird. So like, sometimes we can save it or trim it down depending on what it is, but a lot of times it's best to just remove everything, start from scratch, demo it, and just give you a whole brand new landscape, because that's going to look the best and be the most cost efficient. And so the next thing is, I'm looking at the guy's retaining wall, and the whole thing is just filthy. It needs to be power washed. The retaining wall, sidewalks. I'm like, he goes, I was just thinking that. I say, yeah, we offer that service as well. And so here's what I do. I'm on the phone with the customer and I'm looking, I say, hey, looking at this right now, it looks like on the low end, you're looking about 8,000. And if we go all out, like the full enchilada, 12,000 max, probably somewhere in the middle. Does that make sense, Bob? And then you don't say anything. He says, yeah, I was thinking it would probably be about 10 grand to do all this. Perfect. That's exactly what you want him to say. Now you're green light to set up an in-person property walk to actually walk the property with the customer and close that job and get the deposit check before another landscaper does, right? Because if you're just like, okay, I'll be right there. As soon as the customer calls you, you just go straight there. It might be the wrong customer. It's not even a match. It might be totally different services you don't offer, wrong pricing. Like, you want to have a conversation, a 5 to 6 minute conversation over the phone will literally save you an hour or two sitting in traffic, wasting your and the customer's time, and driving all the way back feeling like you got some work done. Just because you feel like you're working, that doesn't translate into profit or money in your bank. It doesn't, and it wastes everyone's time. So if you want to keep wasting your time, or you can slow down and stop. I used to be kind of like trigger happy when a customer would call.
All right, real quick. I want to tell you about something that honestly blew my mind. If you run a landscaping business, pressure washing, window cleaning, or really any home service business, you already know how important your website is. But most guys either have a terrible website or they paid some designer thousands of dollars and it still doesn't bring them any leads. That's why I partnered with a company called Rebolt. Rebolt uses AI to actually build and optimize your website so it ranks on Google and helps you show up when customers search in your area. We're talking about professional website design built for local SEO and optimized to help you show up in the Google 3-pack. This is not one of those junk AI website builders. These guys are legit. If you want to check it out, go to keithkalfas.com/rebolt. That's keithkalfas.com/rebolt, REBOLT. Go see what they built. It's seriously impressive.
I would immediately start setting up the quote and say, yeah, I'll be right there. This part of me, this extemporaneous energy that feels like I want to make money. And I have to say, stop. Just like if you're going to leave a job site and you're going to run up to the landscape supply to get some materials, you got to go to Home Depot or some sprinkler supply place. You might just up and run and just go run off to the supplier without stopping first and say, let me just take 90 seconds and make a quick little list. What else do I need? What else can I hit when I'm out? Where's the location? You just take off driving. So by stopping and slowing down for an extra couple minutes and qualifying the customer and having a full conversation to make sure it's a good fit and getting the money right, and say, okay, we got these times available. We could be there in 3 weeks. We could be there on the 19th at 9 a.m. It's about a 2-day job. Does that look right? Okay, so I'm coming there now. Everything sounds good. Your whole goal is when I come there, if everything's right, we collect a 33% good faith deposit right on the spot. And I don't, with the customers, I'm like, you don't even have to pay us until the morning of the job when you see we're there and we're actually starting to do the demo. Right? So if you don't feel comfortable giving me 33% 3 weeks before the job, that's fine. But I'm coming there to collect a signature and a deposit check in order to get you on the calendar because we're so busy and we have so many customers calling right now that this has to be a for sure thing, right? So when the customer says that, you're really just showing up to take measurements, get a final price for them, and get a signature and deposit. We do that on Jobber software. It's getjobber.com/Kalfas. I'll put links below. You can do everything on Jobber software. It runs the entire business. But here's the point of this whole video. I'll sum it right here. Don't drive across town unless you're going to pick up a signature and a deposit check. All right? And make sure you talk to the customer for a couple minutes on the phone to qualify them. So if you run around town and do 100 meetings and sell 10 jobs, you could have talked to you could talk to 20 people and sell 10 or 12 of those jobs by pre-qualifying them over the phone. It's so important. So a quick shout out. Thanks so much, Tom Reber and Steve Schinholzer from the Contractor Sales Academy. I don't even know if they still have that anymore. I learned the 50% gross profit margin rule from Tom Reber specifically. And there's a lot of people in our industry that have a lot of great tips. So I'll put some resources below for you. I'm Keith Kalfas. If you have any questions about this stuff, and if I don't have the answer, I can find you the answer and interview someone that who knows. Like, we go live every other Wednesday night on the Untrapped Alliance private group. I've been doing this for over a year now, and we have amazing guest experts come on, and they teach how to run a very profitable business, how to do sales and marketing and closing and persuasion, how to create presentations to sell, all that stuff. KeithKalfas.com/alliance. And that's it, bro. Let's make money. Let's go. Hey, I hope you liked the show. And if you like the Untrapped podcast and you get value from it, can you please take a minute and go over to Spotify and leave it a well-worded positive 5-star review? It helps boost the rankings on Spotify so the show can get to more people. Therefore, these messages can get out to more people and inspire more people so then they can go out and start their small businesses and crush it and get to the next level. It's a huge deal. All right, I'll see you in the next show.